talk about the unusual actions that the city took to keep Twitter from moving its offices outside of San Francisco. Could you describe that a little bit?
Certainly. Well, Twitter being, as many people know, one of the foremost companies that is growing leaps and bounds. They are actually currently headquartered here in San Francisco, but their site at 4th and Folsom is too limiting. And they have currently about 350 workers. 65% of them apparently are residents of San Francisco. They bike to work and they love working there. But as I visited their office and met with the CFO and the CEO and all the engineers, they said that one of their considerations was to find larger offices for their expanded workforce, perhaps not in San Francisco, perhaps in South San Francisco, where rents would be cheaper.
And South San Francisco being outside the city lines and the county lines.
So we had the clear potential, and it was a business decision that they were making. It wasn't about the city being a bad place at all. In fact, the city workers themselves, the employees at Twitter, said that they love in the city, but they wanted me to work with their bosses to find out what we could do to keep them in here because they love being in the city. And as we got through the discussion, we realized that it was rent, but it was also this thing called the payroll tax. We have a kind of a unique taxing system here in San Francisco where historically we've actually taxed employees' growth. And that's kind of a business punisher, if you will. For Twitter, the urgency of making a decision was immediate in front of them. And so as we worked together, we were looking at areas where we would actually have space for them. And we looked at Mid-Market. It's Market Street from 6th to 10th Street. And it's extremely challenged because a lot of investment has not been forthcoming. There's a lot of rundown buildings and a lot of street activities that are very challenging for business to be located.
For people watching this who may visit San Francisco as tourists, it's somewhat near Union Square, but a world away from Union Square.
By declaring Mid-Market to be a kind of something like a redevelopment area, but we called it an area where we can provide a tax break so that those companies that would locate in that Mid-Market, we would then give them a 6-year break from the payroll tax. Those employees that they hired in addition, only in addition to the numbers that they already had, would then be exempted from the payroll tax. Well, they have the potential, and their plans, Twitter, was to grow from 350 to 2,500 in the next 3 years. So we enticed them with this proposal, the Mid-Market tax exemption proposal, and we allowed them to consider being the first anchor of perhaps a number of companies, maybe tech companies, that will also take advantage of this. We sat down with Twitter and said, would that work for you? They said, if you pass that, we'll sign the lease and we'll be here. And we did our share. 2 weeks ago, they did their share. They signed the lease. And guess what? The Shorensteins who bought the building that they're going in, they're spending $80 million retrofitting that building to make it seismically safe. And then on top of that, Twitter's going to spend $20 million moving in to that office space. So that we get $100 million in the first couple of years before they're ramped up. That's an incredible benefit to the city.
And what's your estimate of the payroll tax that you're foregoing?
That'll be about close to about $5 million a year.